You want the truth, honey? Here's the truth. Here's the truth. A number of you have been coddled and deceived by these algorithms and dating coaches who milk you dry and deceive you into believing that there is this endless well of rich, wealthy, successful men. There's not. There's not. And a number of you have decided to code men who are, quite frankly, very comparable to you. You make 70K, he makes 100K, and whatever else, the bare minimum. Sweetie, you have what level degree, and he has what level degree. You were on track for what, and he's on track for what. Be fucking serious! It's pissing me off, the levels of delusion. The levels of delusion. Do you know how many, sick, successful, educated women there are in this world? And a number of you, you're here with a cartoon profile photo, girl. This is insane. The entitlement. That is the issue. That's why a number of women are single in the modern age. Men aren't this, men aren't that. Yeah, men are, in some ways, fucking shitty, okay? I'm working on it, honey. I am. It's crazy you'd even write this. I have a whole fucking series getting men in check. Getting men in fucking check so that my girls have good men. Okay? But you wanna write this on my fucking shit. Girl, bye. Bye. A number of you, you're delusional. Your name is Mary, and you live in fucking Minnesota, and you make 60K, and you think you deserve a millionaire. You're entitled to it. Are you okay? Are you okay? Here's the thing. I'm not gonna coddle the delusions here, and I'm sure there's gonna be a number of dating coaches. They're gonna see. Oh my gosh, why is it always a man wanting to discourage women? I'm not discouraging anything. I'm just saying, wake the fuck up, okay? A woman that used to make 60 or 70K used to casually date a man that made 100 or 150. Now the girls are like, that's the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. And sometimes when some of you are single, I'm like, okay. And in my mind, I'm thinking, as you deserve to be. As you deserve to be. Because what makes you feel entitled to the fucking wildly successful guy when you're doing this, when there's girls out there who are literally building $1 million businesses on track to be partners at law firms and all kinds of things? There are super intelligent, successful women. And some of you are out in the middle of nowhere doing nothing and feeling entitled to rich or wealthy men who literally want the girls out there doing sick shit and becoming wildly successful. And you feel entitled, and you have been deceived into thinking they're choosing you. This is not, real life is not a fucking Cinderella movie. Disney's fucked a lot of people. Okay? My patience is wearing thin. It is.
Is normalization of hatred for men more prevalent than for women? And I would say yes, overwhelmingly yes.
So where do you see the hatred of men primarily? I'm just curious.
Well, I see it in women's marches, and I see it in general conversation when women are like, I don't need a man.
Yeah. I don't need a man?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious. If a man were to say, I don't really need a woman, I'm happy living my life the way I am, I enjoy my career, I enjoy where I'm at, I'm just not really in a position where I need a woman. Would he be hating women by making that type of statement, making such a sentiment?
Women?
Yeah, would you say they hate women?
Well, that's not celebrated, though. That's not something that's...
No, but that's not what I said, though. I said, is that an example of hating women?
Is that an example of hating women?
Because you said an example of hating men is saying I don't need a man.
Yeah, but they're doing it in a way to put down men. They're doing it because they view the patriarchal structure of society as being an inherently bad thing. Why?
Because I think a society in which is structured so that men have certain advantages over women unfairly is unfair to them. I don't think attacking patriarchy or the advantages that men get is in any way attacking them. There's a famous phrase, to the privilege, equality feels like oppression. Wrong.
Misandry is normalized. It's very normalized to the point where we don't even realize it.
You can't give me an example of it. That's what I'm wondering.
A bunch of examples.
But the examples you gave me were women trying to live their lives of their own autonomy and accord, which is saying, I don't need a man, which is fine. I don't see what world you view that as hatred unless you think you're entitled to women.
Yeah, but
That's the only way I interpret that as a hatred of man. I'm being as charitable as I literally possibly can.
I've literally heard women say, I hate men.
Of course,
Literally.
absolutely. And
Death to the patriarchy,
Of course.
all these things.
Wait,
I've
wait a
heard
second.
that.
Death to the patriarchy means death to the societal structures in which give men more societal power than women for no reason. That's not the hatred of men unless you think men ought to have that power because they are men. That is the only way you interpret it that way. So all I'm showing here is a lot of these ideas of what you think misandry is are just your misogynistic instincts and assumptions being exposed.
So this is an easy one. This is an easy one. When they say, so he was right, but he's not expounding. He's not the guy who's saying, they're saying, I hate men. They're talking about the patriarchy, yada, yada, yada. Nobody, have your job, say, man, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. But what you're not understanding is all of that they say is followed with, well, and I don't need a man. Well, they start with, I don't need a man. I can do this, 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 this. You could have just said, man, you know what? I've been able to accomplish this, 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 and this. And it's great. But what they're doing and what this man is picking up on that he act like he can't understand is the attitude behind it, is the intent behind it. What they're saying is, we don't need men. Men are bad. I would rather be in the forest with a bear because a man is doing this, a man is doing that. Fine. But your attitude is treating me as if I'm doing that to you when I'm actually trying to help you. Right? Your first defense towards me, who was trying to help you and to protect you, if you needed it, well, hey man, don't touch it, don't do that. What we need to drill down on is the emotional state of a lot of these modern women today. The emotional state, not all women, but the emotional state of modern women. Now they get online and they talk about, we're going to get in here, we're going to look at, are we dating the same man? Oh, now see, this is why men are trash. The name is in the group. The name is, that's the issue. Are we dating the same guy? Oh yeah, I dated this guy, this, and this. But there are a lot of men that are not in there. But they won't look at that. They'll look at, oh, well, you dated this guy, I dated this guy. And then they'll keep on running up comments on that same guy. In the T app, they will keep on running up comments on the same guy. So what you have now is an idiot. You have a repeat offender. This is the guy that you're having issues with, not men in general. So you shouldn't be saying we don't need men. You should be saying we don't need these guys. We don't need con men. We don't need thieves. We don't need people that try to take women and use them and mishandle them. We don't need these types of men. Instead of, well, we don't need you guys. Like, you guys are useless. What do you guys bring to society? He's acting like you don't hear that. He's acting like women don't say that. That's the problem. We can talk about the patriarchy, how we need to change this and change this and that. We're not talking about privilege and oppression and all that other stuff. We're talking about at the very base level. If a man, because we can talk about privilege, if a man goes out, there's some things he does get a privilege on. But if a woman goes out, there's some things that she does get a privilege on. Even back in the day, when a woman stayed at the house and a man had to go out and work, a woman, regardless, would still be at the house. Well, I can't open a bank account. I can't do this, but I also don't have to get out there and work. I also don't have to go be drafted to war against my will. Or if I don't go to war, I go to jail. Muhammad Ali, the man was in his prime. He was making money, and they put him in jail because he would not go to the draft. He didn't want to be drafted. Women didn't have to go through that. Women didn't have to go through the door being let down. It wasn't even a ship. It was just a device. They didn't have to go through that. Literally sailing to their death. They didn't have to go through that. They didn't have to get up in the morning, go to the coal mines and die because your health is so bad. You're breathing in all those chemicals and you're down there getting trapped in the mine. They didn't have to deal with that. They didn't have to deal with crawling through feces and waste and all that stuff They don't have to deal with that. They don't have to deal with climbing up there on high rises and building those types of buildings. Some of those men, they had to get used to it. Because it's the only way I can feed my family. They don't have to worry about that type of stuff. But y'all keep on telling you down there, literally thousands of feet on the ground. Oh, babe, can you get some milk and eggs when you on your way home? They don't have to deal with that. That's a privilege. I don't know why we think that men are so much more privileged than women when they have pros and cons to what they have going on. Come on.
Now, before I go into this video, I want to make something very abundantly clear. I am not excusing this man's behavior, okay? I don't condone violence from men and women, okay? Let's get into it.
The man who assaulted his girlfriend after she refused to have an abortion will spend 4 to 6 years behind bars. That assault was caught on camera, and we do want to warn you, this video is very hard to watch. Raymond Bautista pleaded guilty to beating the mother of his unborn child outside her Hatfield apartment last April. According to police, she had refused to have an abortion after she became pregnant with his child. A Montgomery County judge sentenced Bautista today. He's also required to attend domestic violence counseling and to have no contact with the woman he assaulted.
Situations like this can be prevented, ladies, if we are a lot more selective and a lot more aware of who we are and who we choose to entertain. Now, again, I'm not shifting the blame just all on women. If you are a man out there and you don't want kids, wrap it up or get a vasectomy, okay? At the same time, ladies, if you are a woman and you don't want kids, get on birth control, okay? Or don't have sex. Those are your two options. Now, I know a lot of you women are going to want to probably say, well, how do you know he didn't want to child at first? Or how do you know he didn't manipulate her? How do you know that? You've got to stop making so many excuses for what you chose to do, right? Like, we're grown-ass people. We're not two. We know right from wrong. We know what will happen if you lay down and have unprotected sex, right? Even if it doesn't happen the first time, it's still going to happen the second, third, fourth, fifth time if you're continuously having sex with that person unprotected on both parts. So we're not going to do all that excusing and this, that, and the third for people, okay? On top of that, a lot of people like to be like, oh, you're pro-choice, or people are pro-choice, and maybe she doesn't want to, That's fine. That's fine, okay? What is not fine is that some of you women who opt out not getting abortion just when a man asks you for abortion just because you don't believe it are some of the same women complaining that they're doing it alone, complaining that their baby daddy ain't shit, complaining that they got a deadbeat as a father, baby father, whatever case may be, but don't want to actually be honest and be like, I thought this baby was going to have him stay. I thought this baby was going to change him. I thought this baby was going to create this, the Lulu fairy tale vision that a lot of you women want with the deadbeat fathers that you chose, with the ancient men that you chose to lay down, raw dog you, have unprotected sex with, and here you are. Same thing goes for a lot of you men. Y'all move off of lust. And some of you men are the same men that sit there complaining about their baby mama, but yet you could have prevented that too as well if you put on a fucking condom. You know what I'm saying? Even if a woman says no, if you, as a man, in your head, is like, no, you saying no, but let me think about this. Let me really logically rationalize this, even though I'm moving in lust and I want to do this, that, and the third to you right now. Let me actually think about what I'm about to do. Because those 10 fucking minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes of feel good is going to last you for 18 plus years of fucking, all types of drama and this, that, and the third because you wanted those 5 minutes of feel good, those 10 minutes of feel good. You get me? Both parties are to blame for when you bring a child in this world and y'all, as a parents, don't like each other, can't stand each other. Wish you didn't have to fuck with each other, all because of a child. Both parties are to blame for that. I planned my child with my husband at the time. Like, y'all don't think of those things. Children aren't things that should just, oopsie, come in the world. They shouldn't. It should never be that. Because this is exactly why the men that y'all are complaining about, the women that y'all are complaining about, half of y'all are oopsie babies. Half of y'all were, oh man, I really didn't even want to be a mother. I didn't really want to be a father type of baby. Who wants to hear that? You feel me? A lot of you women don't take the time to really ask yourself some questions. Why am I moving like this? Why is this type of energy on me? We talk about the Jezebel spirit so much, but a lot of y'all don't really understand that you have that energy on you. You have that spirit on you. I'm saying as someone who has been a very lustful person, and I was so mad at why men just always wanted to just fuck me. Why, like, what? Nobody really wanted to get to know me, but I didn't realize at the same time I'm moving in that energy. I'm allowing that to happen. So of course that's what they're attracting to. I shouldn't be surprised by that. That's the difference. When you really understand how you move and how you think and why you do the things that you do, you're going to understand the results that come with it. And a lot of you women live in fairy tale land, the Lulu land, thinking that, oh, just because I said yes and I wanted to have unprotected sex and he said yes and he wanted to have unprotected sex, it's not my fault if I get pregnant because he shouldn't have dumped me. Girl, what? How is he able to get inside you if you didn't allow it? Because if he did it, the only thing that can happen is the worst of the worst. And I don't talk about that because that doesn't make sense. So unless both of y'all consented to that, y'all both are to blame on what happened. obviously there's something wrong with this man to the point where he felt that let me almost beat her to death because she won't get an abortion, right? But at the same time, what is going through that woman's head to be like, why would you want to bring a child in this world with a man who does not even want to claim you, who doesn't want to claim it? And a lot of you women love to say things like, oh, I had the child for me. No, you didn't. Oh, the child saved me. Do you hear what that sounds like? That's not good. That's not a good thing. This is why there's so many children out there who have so many scars and like are so traumatized by what their parents did, because their parents really didn't take the time to think to be like, I genuinely shouldn't have been a mother. I genuinely shouldn't have been a father. Like, we don't do that. We don't really take the time to think about that as men and women. I wanted to be a mother, so I planned with my husband to be a mother. My child was not an oopsie child. My child was planned. I consented with my husband to get off birth control to start a family. He didn't just pump and dump into me and then I'm complaining because I got pregnant. No, I knew what I was doing. Do y'all understand the difference? This goes for both men and women. You know what you are doing. If you are a man going inside a woman raw, you're not dumb. You know what can happen. Stop thinking that, a lot of y'all need to stop thinking, men, that y'all pull-out game is so strong, because it's clearly not. It's clearly not. And y'all be ready to get women pregnant that you don't even like. You're just lusting after, but you don't really like them. Same thing goes for you women. Y'all be ready to allow a man to pump and dump into you because you're so in the moment of the gratification of being chosen and feeling good and this, that, and the third. But just because I said in one of my videos before, just because a man is putting you through a mattress does not mean that he wants to be committed to you. The way a man makes you feel in the bedroom does not equate to what a man will make you feel as far as he sees you, he hears you, he wants to be with you long term, build with you. And just because you're in a relationship with a man, regardless of how many years, does not equate to you just needing to give that man a baby, especially if you're a woman who wants to be married. Y'all are so quick to wanna, when it comes to that part, forget your morals and values and standards that you have for yourself. I understand you baby mamas, oh, I wanted to be a wife, but then you ended up a baby mama. That's because you allowed that standard to be low. I never allowed my standard to be low to be a baby mama. I was always going to be a wife, and I made sure that happened.
Guy here in the comments said, I blame him more. If he doesn't want kids, he should have protected himself. He was wrong. I think that's what she's saying. If she knows that she doesn't want kids and he knows that he doesn't want kids, then he need to go do what he need to do in order to protect himself, because that's his house. But she also needs to go ahead and do what she wants to do or needs to do in order to protect herself, because that's her house, right? If I'm walking down the street and essentially what's happening is men are walking out of their house, going over to your house, dumping all of their trash in your yard and walking away. And the woman is saying, you don't have a fence. Why in the world don't you get a fence? People keep on dumping in your yard. Get you a fence so people quit doing that. Stop that. Well, he shouldn't have dumped in my yard. I know. And the police need to be called on him, because he don't need to be walking around down the street trying to dump trash in people's yard. But for you, until the police get here or something is done about it, you don't let people keep on dumping in your yard. That's your house. You need to keep your yard looking good, or the HOA is going to come and they're going to charge you for having your lawn looking like this. Protect your yard. That's what men keep on saying. Regardless of this man being a dog, you protect your yard. Period. End of story. Well, I shouldn't have to this. You're right. But protect your yard from people who try to mess it up. They're not going to go mess their stuff up, but they're going to come over and mess your stuff up. Protect your house.
You should not be seeking provider husbands, and this podcast episode perfectly depicts why. In this episode, Ramit Sethi interviews this traditional values couple with a net worth of over $2 million. The husband managed all of the finances, and the wife was essentially given an allowance through their discretionary budget, but he determined what was considered discretionary. And when he applied for the show, he said that he was nervous that if he died, that she would go broke because she has no skills. This is the economic reality of relying entirely on one partner. When one person earns and the other exits the labor market, the household becomes highly concentrated. If that person loses their job, gets sick, or just leaves you, the financial consequences are huge. And time away from the market isn't neutral either. Skills depreciate, your network shrink, and your earning power erodes. This is what economists call depreciation of human capital. And divorce law doesn't erase this risk. Even if assets are evenly split, future earning potential is not redistributed equally. Alimony is not guaranteed and is often temporary, and the spouse who stayed at home finds himself years behind on wages and leverage. When people say that they want a provider husband, what they really mean is that they want specialization. One in market labor and one in domestic labor. The issue is that the risk is asymmetric, and the woman is often the one shouldering the majority of this risk. Household labor is real work, but it rarely translates to financial independence. You can love homemaking, but if you don't maintain your earning power, savings, and financial literacy, you are putting your economic security in the hands of somebody else.
But once again, I think we're forgetting one small issue here, and that is that women are the ones that at a 70% clip minimum leave the relationship. That's 70% across. Don't matter if she went to college. It don't matter, none of that. 70% of the time. If you have a 50% divorce rate, the woman is going to leave 70% of the time. So she don't care if she a single mother or not. That don't matter to her. What is a man going to do about that? Number one. Number two, here we are again, thinking that what the woman is losing or gaining is more than the man. Well, you know, he gains way more than I do because he has this, and this. And this is why you guys have trouble in relationships, because y'all's limited way of thinking. If the man goes down, y'all are thinking because I don't have a job, because I can't work, then I'm going to have trouble. I'm going to have a hard time struggling. But once again, like I've talked about in other videos, modern women are able to pull, like they're able through tears to pull on society and get society to fund them. Oh, please. I don't know no man out there that's able to get on TikTok and say, man, I'm having a hard time, so make this TikTok blow up. Follow me so I can get money from the creator fund. Not being a creator, just being a beggar. That's what TikTok needs to rename it. The TikTok Beggar Fund. Because that's what they're doing. Getting online, telling sob stories. You know, modern women love a good sob story. So they continue to watch it, look at it, and then the person gets paid. And then when they start making money, then they start talking about how they fought back and they went from rags to riches. No, you didn't. You didn't fight anything. You cried your way to success, which I guess back in the old days, they had a saying that a woman would, you know, sleep her way to the top. But now with modern women, they do that. And then they've added another tool to their arsenal that they use more and more nowadays, social media, to help people see that I'm crying my way to success.
I deadass told my client it is going to be hard for her to find a romantic match, and it's not because there's anything wrong with her. She is a rare human. She is deeply intuitive, a high achiever, and self-aware in the way that most people will never get close to. She knows what kind of relationship she wants, and her standards and values are solid as hell, not performative and not fucking negotiable. She's also highly successful, emotionally intelligent, has a huge heart, and carries a kind of regulated energy that people can feel when she walks into a room. And on top of that, she has done the inner work, not Instagram inner work, actual work, time alone, discernment, self-abandonment wounds, detachment, learning how to feel without chasing, learning how to choose without proving, how to stand still without shrinking, how to ask hard questions early on. She's a Black Cat Academy client, so she's not unconscious in the dating pool anymore. When you are this awake, your options are going to feel narrow. We were talking about her recent dating experiences and she said, so what do I do? I'm tired. Do I just keep trying? I just want someone to swim to the island with me. And I love her for her analogies. The way that she shares is just so raw and beautiful. She wants them to swim to the island with her, not begging them to jump, not teaching them how to swim, not negotiating the island location, not dealing with a false start followed by just kidding. True togetherness. And here's what I told her. You are a super rare human being, and finding a match, a true match, is going to take time. When you stop rescuing, over-explaining, managing emotional immaturity, and carrying relational weight that was never yours, fewer people could come with you. Not because you're too much, but because you're no longer willing to be less. Most people want proximity without responsibility. They want access without accountability. They want the island, but they don't want to swim. You're not asking for too much. You're asking for someone who can meet you where you already are without needing to be dragged, coached, convinced, or coddled along the way. And yes, that means it takes longer, but the alternative is swimming in circles with people who never intended to cross the water with you in the first place.
Somebody in the comments said, is your client me? This is what ChatGPT says about me, LOL. A woman responded to that comment and said, same. I think chat is gaslighting. Chat is gaslighting. And this is what people keep on trying to tell you. You think that AI is going to lead you in the direction of getting a man. You already have to have the thought process. ChatGPT or any of these other agents might be able to help you say things better, or keep you organized, but you still have to be a real human to connect with somebody else. Y'all go into this thinking that you can use these tricks and these gimmicks, and you think because of what you read, oh man, this is really going to pop off. This is really going to get him. This is really going to set it off. No, it's not. Y'all are going to be in the same boat. Period. End of story. Your therapist is going to have you in the same boat. ChatGPT is going to have you in the same boat. And honestly and truly, some of your pastors going to have you in the same boat because they keep on telling you nonsense. Y'all going to be single and alone forever because y'all really have a bad attitude. Y'all can dress it up. Y'all can build a house. Y'all can build a company. You can drive nice cars. But you still suck as a partner.
I'ma say it. Somebody gotta say it. The moment you argue with a man, yell at a man, put your hands on a man, try to go toe to toe with a man, try to be stronger than a man, try to challenge the man, baby, one of three things is gonna happen. One, he might walk away, and leave you high and dry. Two, he might submit to you and get on one knee and let you have your way. Or three, he might show you that you are not a man, however that looks. And that's your fault. Because as a woman, you ain't got no business going toe to toe with a man. You ain't got no business challenging a man. You close your mouth, you let him know, you know what, this ain't for me. I'm good. I'm gonna walk away, love. If that man don't try to do anything to physically harm you after that, there should be no reason why you even putting yourself at risk on the line like that. You are not a man. So unless you want that man to show you that you are not a man, then don't try to be a man. Walk away. It's for everybody's safety. He wrong for coming at you, but you extra wrong and you extra dumb for thinking you can go toe to toe with him.
Only getting worse too.
It's only getting worse. Even my daughter, who's beautiful, she'll say, "Dad, men don't come up and talk." Because I raised my kids a certain way. Men don't approach women no more.
It's actually not as common as people think.
You go to parties, men don't even ask women to dance. You see a fine woman over there, they stare and they hope that the girl come to them. Back in my day, you saw a girl, "Hey, gotta buy you a drink, I understand." And the girl was like, "Girl, bye." You take her by the hand, bye. The guy, you see your homie, like, "Yo," you walk over with a bad chick. That's how it was back in the day. And we didn't have to worry about somebody gonna kill you. We knew everybody was gonna have a good time. Call me when you get home. It was beautiful. It's just changed, man.
Here's one reason why men don't want to open up to women anymore. It's because when they try to air out their grievances with us, we can't hear what they're trying to say. Because we're so busy trying to justify what actually happened or prove that we were right in that moment and that he's wrong, that we can't hear what he's trying to say. Now, here's the thing. I'm not trying to be judgmental because I know from experience as well. But what I've also come to realize is that the only thing that matters in that moment is validating his experience, validating his feelings, his opinions, his thoughts, his requests, if he has them. It's not trying to prove a point. It's not trying to throw things back in his face. It's not trying to throw a temper tantrum. It's none of that. It's just hearing what he is actually saying without throwing a fit. We try to get men to try to open up and be vulnerable and come talk to us and all the things. But if he can't speak what's on his mind and it land in a safe space and him not be judged for it or him not be met back with so much resistance, he's going to take a mental note, store it up, and he's going to move differently in the future. So that's just what it is. Yes, there will be time for you to air out your own grievances and to prove your points. There will be time for that. It's just that it's not right now.
You want to know why men don't talk about their feelings? Because when a man tells a woman how he feels, then the woman's going to react with some way about how she feels, about him telling her how he feels. And then he's going to end up having to console her for how she feels, for him telling her how he feels, when in reality, he just wanted to feel understood. And now he has to take care of her feelings, not get any consideration or understanding for him trying to explain to her how he felt. Am I right or am I right?
I think One of the most common comments that I get when people watch my partner shaming or watch me call out bad behavior is, "This is why I'm done with dating." And I want to address this because, shoot, I did not mean for that to be the point of this channel. Don't get me wrong, I actually think being single is great. I think people who enjoy being single actually make the best partners, but one of the biggest reasons I started the whole Womansplaining Men to Women series was as a response to all of the anti-men echo chambers that I kept finding myself stuck in. It all started to really affect my anxiety and my depression because I started honestly believing that all men were like these horror stories I was seeing online. But at the end of the day, it's just not true. And so I wanted to start poking holes in those echo chambers. So if the whole reason I started making videos was to get women to stop saying men aren't worth it, the last thing I want men's takeaway to be from my videos is women aren't worth it. Dating isn't worth it. Love isn't worth it. It is! Look, since I've started, I've made generously 500 videos. Even if every single one of those videos was about a woman engaging in bad behavior, which they're not, that's still a very marginal, tiny population that does not represent all women. I just wanted to remind you of that as you continue interneting because I was poisoned and it was not good. Do not let yourself get poisoned too.
Men are not attractive anymore, and I'm not even talking about looks. It's the fact that so many of them are not healed, not self-aware, can't connect emotionally, stuck at surface level because they don't know how to go beyond that.
The level of projection is crazy. It's astronomical. But here's the real. The reason why modern men of today are no longer attractive to women like you is because you like to use men. And the men of today are not going to allow you to use them. They're not going to allow you to emotionally manipulate them. They're not going to allow you to shame them into some sense of traditionalism while you continue to operate in progressivism. They're tired of trying to live up to the 50 standard of what a man is while you give them your behind to kiss. So we get it. You're not attracted anymore because you can't get your way.
50% of men aged 18 to 30 haven't approached a woman in the last year.
And the men that have approached are doing remarkably well. More than half have gotten a date from it. And it goes down if you look to like long-term relationships, how many dates turn into a long-term relationship. But the men who are approaching, they're doing pretty well, actually.
Of that 50% of them did get a date.
Might have even been about 70%. At least got a date or a phone number or some kind of romantic connection there. People that approach women, they're getting dates from it.
Given the fact that this is an exclusively agentic decision that you're making, if you have a little bit more confidence in yourself, it's going to make making the decision more easy. But ultimately, there's a huge chunk of people in that 50% that are doing it that probably are just as unsure and just as terrified and just as uncertain as you are. So yeah, I mean, that's a serious white pill for why you should approach women.
I don't know what possibly could be a better ad for just do it. Just do it! Ask the girl out! Buy her dinner! Hold the door open for her! What's the worst that could happen? She says no. Half of all the men aged 18 to 30 haven't approached a woman in the last year. Obviously, I think there are a lot of reasons for that, which we can decode separately, but you have everything to gain from asking a woman out on a date. Part of the reason I am marrying my now fiance is because he didn't even ask me on a date. He told me, hey, we're going on a date, okay? And I said, great!
Once again, we gotta start telling women to help men out. Give me a boost. Help me out. Or just do it. Just come approach me. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Help me out. You gotta give me a boost. Modern women won't do it. That's why men aren't approaching. Men have seen too many interactions and have been a part of too many interactions where they say, man, I'm just looking for a clear signal. Can you give me that? Man, I'm not going to give you a clear signal. Just approach me. No, you got to give me a clear signal. Even if it ends up being nothing, I want to know that it's safe. You have to understand that men, I know y'all like to think only about your feelings and what you're going through, but men are looking, it's like they're standing at the edge of a cliff. And then you're saying, there's a net down here. Just jump. And a man is like, I'm looking down, but I don't see no net down there. Where is the net? I'm telling you, the net is down here. Trust me, just jump. Unless there's a bear on my trail, I'm not jumping. Unless there is imminent danger and I have to, it's my only recourse, I'm not jumping. I'm not going to do it until I see. If I don't see, I'm going to figure out another way. And that's why you have men, oh, I'd rather just DM. Because that seems like a lower risk or a little bit better play in this situation. So that way she don't feel like I'm all up in her face and I don't feel like this is an awkward situation. Oh, you're too worried about it being awkward? Maybe. But I'm also worried about somebody sitting up there lying to me, talking about, well, I just felt like I had to give him my number. Man, why don't you read the room? Well, I did think I read the room. I was just talking to you. I didn't know I was saying or doing anything that was out of line. But apparently you did, because modern women don't communicate. Well, just approach me. What's the worst could happen? I leave, I get the woman's number, and I'm like, okay, that was a great interaction. But then the woman comes online literally 2 or 3 hours later and starts talking about me. And it comes up on my feed, or somebody tells me about it. And then people are calling me a creep. They're finding my page. They're sending crazy stuff to my house. That's the worst that could happen. People spot me in the store and my image and my reputation is ruined. Well, you didn't even have a reputation in your town. Nobody knew you. Exactly. And I would have liked to keep it that way. Whatever way you try to shame a man, whatever way you try to say it, I would have liked to keep it that way. Oh, well, you was the talk of the town, but now you're not, and nobody cares about you. And there you go. I had nothing. I had nothing, right? Essentially what they're wanting a man to do is take lemons and create lemonade. And then they'll come back around to you. Whatever I do with you, whatever the rejection is, it's good for you. It builds your character. So you become the person, and once again, you're going to continue to do this in a relationship. You become the person that tells me when I need to be tested. But when I say, okay, now you need a little bit more testing. You need to learn this. You got to do that. Then all of a sudden I'm misogynistic. I'm a narcissist. The patriarchy. I don't love men, or I don't love women. I hate women. I hate you. I don't like my wife. Modern women want to be able to finagle and get away with things. They want to be able to play in the gray area. They want to be able to make definitive statements from the gray area. Just approach while sitting in the gray area. Just do it while sitting in the gray area. And a man has to be either black or white. And a man is saying, either you come out here where I am and you make a decision to say, okay, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say hi. Or I'm going to look at you, I'm going to wait for a few seconds, for a few minutes, and I'm going to walk in your vicinity, and I'm going to drop the handkerchief, and I'm going to go on about my business. They're not going to do it though. They just going to continue to blame a man for not doing it.
You can date a man that's not earning any money, both in that stage of your life. Men are not their best versions of themselves when they're not earning any money. So when you meet a man in that stage of his life and you think, doesn't matter, I'll love him unconditionally and he'll become, and I can nurture him and look after him and I'll show him that I'm not a gold digger, you don't get the best version of them. You really don't get the best version. And when they become the best version of themselves, they're not attracted to women who accept them when they were at their lowest. So they change their type. So my advice would be is you can definitely see a man progress, but when he's at his total lowest, it's best for him to just be single in that period and focus on himself rather than...
If you don't want the woman with her titties out, don't with her. What I mean, fam, is this a woman out there who present herself in such a way that you'll be attracted off the rip. Like you'll see her and be like, okay, that's the one, not... Man, if she closed her blouse up just a little bit and maybe stopped wearing heels in the club, even though I'm in the club looking at her and I'm attracted and this the reason I'm about to shoot my shot. All I'm saying is, fellas, we gotta stop being goofy. Because often, like, we let the lady say, oh, you can't change no man, you can't raise no man. You can't change none of these neither. You're not insecure for asking a woman who be having her titties out to put them up, you goofy. You asking women who been in the club every weekend for the past 4 years to be something different. That's a little dumb, don't you think? Whole time it's women who be at the crib, who be at the fabric store, covered up, still just as conservative as you want, but you don't be there, nigga. Matter of fact, while she had the crib covered up, yo, still fitting to be in the club. Quit playing. I get that, like, the ladies got their things, they got their gripes, they got their that they be up with, whatever, what have you, but we not tight enough to call them on certain, you feel me? We got to check the predatory thinking and ways within our circles before we start talking about how women dress, G. Because it's way too many of us that look at women as objects regardless of what the they got on, and you don't check that with your man, but you want to check a woman, you feel me?
Leave these women alone. You're stressing yourself out. They're not going to change. That's just the way they are. That's how they going to be until they about 30, 35. And then that's when they're going to say, well, I want to get up out the club. I'm tired of this life. I want to go look for me a husband. And then that's when they're going to try to go for the successful man or whatever man. Honestly, maybe he's not super successful as far as money goes. Let me put that out there. As far as money goes, maybe he don't have as much money as the next man. But she's looking for a guy to just take the weight off my back. Well, I only make $50,000. Yeah, you'll do. Just take the weight off my back. I just need a little bit of help. I got 3 kids. It's hard raising them by myself. So you don't necessarily have to make the money. Not like that. Because, we can go half on rent. Well, you're already paying rent. Look like you got a 3-bedroom house. Now, we might have to move and get something a little bit bigger. Maybe like a 4-bedroom or something like that. But you pretty much got everything right here. I already got a car. I got a car. It's not big enough. Right? So if we need to, we can, if we go on someplace, then we can go half and get a bigger car. So we get a bigger car, a bigger house. You can still pay the rent on that, but your check is going to go to rent. My check is going to go to utilities, that sort of thing. And then also I get somebody who's going to help me keep the kids, who's going to help me provide structure and create structure for the kids. That's what they're going to start saying when they want to get out of the club. If that's not what you want, then move on down the road. She might be cute, but I'm telling you, she's not worth it. She's going to continue until it's all out of her system. She's going to continue to do that because that's just what she wants to do. She's going to get the itch and she's going to do it again because that's just what she wants to do. Period. End of story. There's no sense in fighting it. There's no sense in continuing to be around her. That's just what she wants to do. So if that's not the type of woman that you want, if you go to the club, stay in your corner. And they're going to talk about you not approaching. They're going to talk about you staring. Let that be as far as it goes. You got to realize you want your money in your pocket at the end of the night. You want to spend what you want to spend. You want to keep what you want to keep. If you want to go over there and spend some money on her because you're having fun, go ahead. But understand, that's probably not going to lead anywhere. And if you're okay with that, it's your money. But what he's saying is don't try to turn a 304 into a housewife. Or even if she dresses provocatively, but she's not a 304, don't try to change a woman who is dead set on dressing this way. Because you're gonna ruin and you're gonna mess up your peace.
I've been crying on and off for a little bit now, and I want to be a mom so bad. Like, I want to be turning 40 this year, and everything's just hitting me right now. It's like, I'm not where I wanted to be. I haven't succeeded at anything.
Thing that my mom likes to rub in my face and remind me that I don't have and that I'm getting old and she's concerned just adds to my own anxiety and my own concerns, and I don't need it. So I'm getting kind of desperate. What the fuck do I do?
I fucking give up on trying to find somebody that actually wants to be with me.
Here's some crazy research for you. So, a third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner.
A good partner, and men want partners, but a good partner is going to be one that takes your feelings into consideration. Modern women don't take men's feelings into consideration at all. Modern women don't want to hear what men have to say. They don't care what men have to say. They just want your money. They just want that paycheck. That's all. I want you to hand me that paycheck when you walk in the door, and I want you to go in and start cleaning and working around the house where I've assigned you. Modern women, without realizing it sometimes, they put their man, even though the man is not acting like that, they put their man in the place of a child. They treat the man as they would treat their children. Okay, go look on the board, go look on the refrigerator, here's your schedule. What do we say? What do we say? Are we ready? Ready? Eyes up here, eyes up here. If you're talking, you cannot hear me. If you're talking, you cannot hear me. Go check the board for your assignment. And they treat a man like that. Okay, you've stepped in. Only you're a glorified child to her, basically. Right? So you come in, you're a child that can produce and make money. So you come in, you check the board to see what you need to do, and then you go and start doing it. And then maybe at the end of the night, you can have 10 minutes on the iPad. You can have 10 minutes on the TV. But you got to eat all your vegetables first. You might be able to have a piece of candy, but you got to eat 3 more bites of greens. Come on, come on. That's the mindset. She might not be doing that literally, but that's the mindset that a lot of these modern women have, which is what turns men off. And even though she might not be yelling, that's not peace. That's an issue. That's a problem. And men get tired of being around somebody who does that type of nonsense.